Come, sit. Listen all. Listen well. Tonight I speak to you the tale.
Chronos is a third-person RPG for the Oculus Rift, available from the Oculus Store, which was developed by Gunfire Games, and is an exclusive title for VR and Oculus. At the start of Chronos, you were given the option to choose whether you wish to be a male or female protagonist. Then you have the decision to make, to carry an axe or a trusty sword from the start. Whatever your decision, it won't have much of an impact on your playthrough. After this, you are taken to the village elder. Here, through Shadow Theatre, you are told the story of the game, and of how you have been chosen to take on this great evil and save your homeworld from the dragon. Chronos is like the younger brother of a Dark Souls game. It's not as big or as hard as its elder brother, but it still packs a punch and won't go down without a fight. And fight you will. The combat in the game is not anything new or exciting. You attack, block, parry or dodge, and that's pretty much it. But as simple as the controls are, there is much more to it than that. Every enemy is a threat to you, and if you don't take them seriously, they will punish you, even if you have beaten them 5 to 10 to 20 times before. There is an art to each character type, a certain pattern that you will have to find to dispatch them. Of course, this will depend on your style of play and the weapon you use. The world in which the game starts is a post-apocalyptic one, although you don't spend a lot of time here, because to kill the dragon, you must enter the labyrinth. This is set in a high fantasy world, and not just full of monsters but also puzzles to slow your progress throughout the labyrinth. The puzzles are generally light and don't take lots of time to figure out, but trekking back and forth to find the missing piece is the real challenge. There's no hand-holding with Chronos, so when you do move around, you don't have a map, so you can sometimes get lost or take a wrong turn. However, as you're in the labyrinth, you really shouldn't find it a doddle to get around anyway. The further you get through the labyrinth, the more doors you can open that connect back to the previous parts of the chapter. This will allow you to skip parts of the labyrinth that you've previously explored and avoid enemies that occupy the halls if you die. Save points are giant gemstones that you use to teleport from the outside world into the labyrinth, and also to move around through it. Unfortunately, they are sparsely scattered throughout the maze, and you will have to battle hard from one gemstone to the next. Chronos is an RPG, but for anyone looking for the next level of character detail and tuning that you would get from an RPG like Skyrim, you will not find it here. You have 4 attributes to work with: Strength, Arcane, Agility and Vitality, and you earn points to upgrade these through combat experience only. Your character will always be of a warrior class, so even if you focus more on the arcane, you will still be a warrior. Your weapons come from exploring, as there are no shops or mysterious strangers that will sell you a new axe for gold coins. All weapons can have their damage power upgraded by collecting dragon shards. There is a nice variety in the weapons you come across: swords, axes, maces, and my particular weapon of choice, a spear, although it is possible to keep the first weapon you choose and complete the game with it. There aren't any side missions either that you can spend time doing to build up your character's experience. What Chronos does offer in an RPG way that I've never experienced before is that your character ages. When you die, you get thrown out of the labyrinth back to your homeworld, and as the labyrinth only opens once a year, you must wait until then, licking your wounds and getting older before you can return. Obviously, this doesn't happen in real time. In the game, you are just transported back to the nearest save stone that you last encountered. When you first enter the labyrinth, you are a sprightly 18-year-old, nimble and quick. As you grow older though, your strength will start to wane. However, you will become wiser and more in tune to the arcane arts. This unique approach adds more to Chronos than you'd expect. You will die a lot in Dark Souls or Bloodborne, and it's frustrating, but with Chronos there seems to be a real price for being defeated over and over. This added a sense of dread that hung over me throughout my playthrough, as if death itself was standing over me and watching and waiting for me. The character appearance changes as the years pass, and I felt it with the hero, as if the burden of their many years weighed also on my shoulders. Then, as every decade of your life passes, you get the option to choose a new perk out of 3 available. Some consideration is needed with each of these options, as what might work for you now might not be the best option later in life. As for VR, Gunfire has built an exceptionally beautiful world within Chronos, and with the detail you feel as if they had crafted every stone from hand. I can see why a developer would prefer a game this beautifully made in VR, as the player can appreciate the design and detail up close compared to a more traditional screen. Aside from enjoying the view, there isn't a lot that VR offers here. Your point of view is at a fixed position in every area you walk into, as if you were a CCTV camera watching your hero throughout their journey. You can tilt your head up, down, left, right, and this will control where the camera aims. For a game that relies on being able to dodge and parry a lot, I found a few times that I would end up getting stuck behind an enemy as they blocked the camera, which was especially frustrating when you died because of it. I was constantly either luring an enemy to an area where I had a better view, or moving around the camera point of view to get a better position to attack. Chronos has a perfect mix of frustration and enjoyment built into the game. You will work hard to beat it, but never spend too long repeating the same area over and over. It's a great warm-up for other harder games of this type. I would have enjoyed Chronos as much playing it on a TV as in VR, but for the platform it's great to see a well-designed, polished game available. Gunfire are definitely a developer to watch from here on in. Chronos is shallow on the RPG elements, but will find its fans that don't want the depth of character development and hours of side quests that other games in the genre have to offer. Its aging mechanic, I hope, becomes something other studios will make use of in games to come, as every death matters more in this game than any I have ever played. There is a bite to Chronos, but I enjoyed sinking my teeth into it as much as it sunk them into me.